And here we are in Highfield Park. The birds are still singing because it is springtime. But I'm going to tell you a story about trees in the springtime and about a woman who loved to go walking in the woods. So if I say tree, could you say leaf? Tree.
Leaf.
Tree.
Leaf.
Tree.
Leaf.
Tree, 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 tree.
Leaf.
Once upon a time, there was a woman who loved the woods. She loved the trees and she knew them so well that she could just reach out and with her fingers feel the bark of the tree, and she knew which tree it was, a bird cherry or an ash tree or a hazel. And if she closed her eyes when it was a bit breezy, she could tell what kind of tree it was just by the sound that the leaves made in the breeze. She loved the trees, but most of all she loved them in the spring, when the buds were just bursting, when the trees were singing and bumblebees were flying through the air. And one day she came to a great oak tree and she sat down like you, Malika, with a lovely straight back, with her back against the bark and her bottom in a little mossy, rooty place. And she sat down feeling so happy about the spring and the trees and the woods. She said the magic word. Do you remember what the magic word is?
No. Please.
The other one.
Thank you.
Well done. She said, thank you. And as soon as she said thank you, she felt her bottom beginning to wobble. Whoa, what's that? And she stood up and she looked, and there was the tree. And the tree was shaking. And she saw inside the tree there was a crack. And the crack got wider and wider until she saw a kind of round door with a handle. What colour was the door, Megan? It was a blue door. Well done. And she opened the blue door with a creak. Can you help me? And she opened the blue door and she stepped inside the tree. But there was a whole new world inside the tree. It was a bit like the TARDIS because it was bigger on the inside than it was on the outside. Imagine that you just stepped into a world inside a tree. I'll start you off. It had a light that was kind of green and glowing and soft. There was grass underneath her feet as she walked through the world inside the tree. Anything else inside the tree? There was a sky. What colour was the sky?
Midnight.
There was a midnight sky. I love that.
Flowers.
There was a midnight sky. There were flowers. Look,
Diamonds.
this is amazing. On the other side of the field where the grass was growing, there were flowers. And as she looked at those flowers, she saw there was jewels inside. There was daisies with diamonds. There was daisies with diamonds. There was roses with
Gold.
rubies and gold. There was roses with rubies and gold. There was sunflowers with sea-coloured sapphires. And there was a field of flowers. Each flower had a gorgeous jewel or something precious and gleaming. And as she looked at the field of flowers, she heard a voice, the voice of the tree. You can take one of my diamonds. And so she took a diamond daisy and she picked it, and it was beautiful and it was bright and it was glistening and gleaming, and she put it in her pocket. She turned around, she said, thank you.
Thank you.
To the tree once more, and she left the grassy field with the midnight sky and the green glowing light, and she walked out to the blue door. Can you close the blue door with me? And the crack closed behind, and she stepped away from the tree, but the light from the sun in the sky, it came and it danced and it dazzled until it travelled far and it was seen by somebody else. Because she had a neighbour, not you. She had a neighbour who was a mean man, a lean man, a man without a smile. What was he? A mean man, a lean man, a man without a smile. He was the kind of man who knew the price of everything but the value of nothing. And he saw that diamond daisy and he said, oi, where did you get that from? And she told the truth about the tree in the spring forest, the oak tree, and the doorway and the secret world inside the tree. And he ran to that tree. He didn't sit down with a nice straight back against the tree and say thank you. He took a great stick and he whacked and he smacked and he thwacked until the tree was broken, the bark was beginning to bleed sap. But then it opened the crack and there was the doorway. And he pushed open the blue door and he went inside the world, inside the tree, and he ran till he came to the flowers. And he got those flowers and he grabbed and he grabbed and he put them in his bag and his baskets. And he grabbed and he grabbed and he put them down his back.
He's reading.
And he grabbed and grabbed, he put them down his... No, not there. No, not down his pants. But he did. take as many of those flowers as he could get his hands on, but he didn't notice that the light was going out. And he didn't notice that the door
Was
closing. He didn't notice that the tree had trapped him inside. And the story says that a man is still stuck inside that tree. And if you listen to an oak tree in the springtime, if it's the right one, and you put your ear to the bark, you might just hear him.
Oh.
And that is the end of that.